All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to go over AMC Entertainment stock real quick for the day. And here's what we have here. This is my parabolic line. We've been fighting it. So we came here, tried to touch it, and then go, and then got rejected underneath it. So as of yesterday and pretty much this morning, we broke and back tested it again. Now we need to push off of it, okay? So the first key level here on this fib is 241. The 238 to 241, if you remember back in May 2024, when we got through that, that was the low. But if you can cross that and cross $3, that puts you into that kind of run zone where you went from basically 238 to $12. Okay, so this is the 15-minute. I'm going to flip, or the 1 hour. I'm going to flip this to a 4 hours so you can see. Basically, when I give a level out, guys, again, it's a 4 hour close. So today's level was 226 is what I was looking at. Actually, the 4 hour close ended up being 228. We did test. Remember, yesterday's high pivot was 223. So that's perfect trading. So yesterday I wanted to reclaim. See this parabolic line? We reclaimed, went a little higher this morning, and then back tested yesterday's kind of pivot high at 223. And now we're going higher off the parabolic line. So far so good. It looks like a good day of trading. I would like it to get through the 238, and which brings us into the kind of the May 2024 run zone. Okay, that's an area that things could get exciting to me, and this parabolic line is getting steeper, meaning that when we get through it, as it gets steeper up here, the stock moves quicker, right? So even over here where it was fairly flat, the stock went up a bit. But now you can see if we cross basically 374 and 50 or 504 for sure, this thing's getting steep. And let's bring that down. So when you say a stock moons, basically look how steep the parabolic line was here versus here, right? So this, we just kept returning to it. So the next time, in theory, you go way above it and then kind of pull back, chop back next to it, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Stock is currently at 236 now. So crossing 238 to 241 is the next where you start running. And the fib kind of target 1618. The minimum target is 504 on the move. Again, my inverted head and shoulders target is somewhere in the 8 and 9 range. Since you remember, I've covered this chart lately. I took the bowl off because the chart's already messy enough. Mainly, remember I showed you how the MACD you can chart. Well, we had a false breakdown, right? Just like we did here. So if you draw that trend line up, there was a false breakdown and then kind of a back test of that false breakdown. But so the MACD also did a false breakdown, and we recaptured it today. So MACD is literally at the bottom of its channel. So that's very good. That means there's all kinds of room overhead to run. And this one is just on the 15-minute, guys. So, but the MACD is pointed, it's not straight up, but it's got a nice trend look to it. And on this particular chart, again, that 238, let me move this over for current action. Yeah, would kind of, that's this falling channel here, top, where you've kind of hit these levels. It's kind of a trend of these levels. Could say 237, 238 would be kind of the break that could kind of trigger that inverted head and shoulders. Yeah, just kind of the tips of all these little rallies on this 15-minute chart combined in a falling pattern. It would put us at the 237. The center of this trend channel would be this kind of 247, and then if this does get honored, this channel, then the next level would be about 345. But I would imagine our next wave up is kind of the first real leg, in the rally. Like all the stuff we've been doing is kind of accumulation. So I'm flipping this over to the 4 hour because it gives you a much cleaner look, right? So over here, we're at the 200. We kind of did an inverted hammer, whatever you want to call it, shooting star, and then reversed, and then came a back test, went up higher on the earnings, been inside this range, right? So you say yesterday was that outside key reversal day. We came down and made a nice dip, and then came up for the next 4 hour, came up to this zone, and then this morning back checked the pivot zone, and now we're pushing toward the high of this falling trend line type pattern, right? So you could say we're in striking distance of pushing much higher, but the stock has to prove it, right? So it looks good, and I think that's about it for today. So the real pivot zones today were the 226 would be the kind of the bull bear pivot, and then back checking the kind of the high pivot of yesterday, or the right around the close, was that 223. That recaptured that parabolic line, so we didn't want to lose that this morning. But a back check of it's fine. So we back checked yesterday's high pivot, made it back through kind of the bull bear pivot line of 226, and now we're pushing 235.5 right now on the live trading. So no problems. 237 plus might move quicker, and it's trying 236 now. Yeah, I would say that concludes this morning's kind of overview of AMC for the day, and probably make another video in a little bit or after the close tonight. Thanks for watching.